Give me a countdown, and the 3 minute is good. Okay? Ah, 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 ah. Okay. 4, 3, 2. Good day. My name is Samani Jim. I'm here upon the request of Venerable Phong from Wataroon. Today we have two really fun guests. They happen to be my children. And this is Sean Prince and Shannon Ann Prince. And they have come to visit me in Thailand. And we have been separated for about 30 years. And we're going to spend some time at discussing what this very amazing reunion has been for each of us. We were talking earlier about the interim years between the time I left and the time we got together again, and you were mentioning some of the feelings that you had during that time.
I felt that there was something missing in my earlier years. But now that I've had the opportunity to reconnect with you, also those feelings of something missing, maybe life not going the way it was supposed to, as I was moving through my earlier years and into my early adulthood. But you know, our life goes on. But at this point, getting to meet you in my life, I feel that things probably worked out the way they were supposed to, that we went on the journeys that we were supposed to. And now that we come back together again, it all kind of feels right.
Well, how really interesting, because you explain your life as a journey from one place to the next, however those conditions were. And it's the same with mine. And there were tough times. And people, I mean, actually in my journey, people did die. And people that you were close to didn't make it. And those were hard times.
I think she mentioned something interesting too, like when we're younger, we are less sure of ourselves, and as we grow older, more confidence builds in who we are as people. And I think that at this time is a good time that all of this started to happen and come together as things are full circle. That in some cosmic way, you know, it's good timing, because both of us at our age, you know, we've seen a lot more in life, and especially I think in Shannon's case, you know, her life recently has opened up into more possibilities that I'm happy about too. I mean, I've always had endless wasteful years of squandering my possibilities recklessly, and I'm becoming more responsible with that nowadays. So we're both at the right place.
Absolutely.
I think.
Well, I think being irresponsible is a really wonderful idea. There's
Well,
plenty
I'm
of
good
time
at that.
if there's plenty of time to be responsible, like, you know,
Right.
10 minutes before you leave is good.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Shannon, for that.
Mm-hmm.
My experience during those years is that I was wondering how you were doing. From a meditational point of view, I could tell a little bit, but because of our earlier connection. But I was asked not to bother you, and that, from my point of view, from a responsible meditating point of view or a mystical point of view, that would mean not bothering you in a meditation or visualization sense. And I was asked not to do that, and I honored that. I'm pretty sure that Tristan didn't know what she was asking when she asked that, but it was just part of my spiritual choice, let's put it that way, that I wasn't to do that. By the way, when Kristen found out you were coming to visit, what was her response?
Supportive.
Supportive.
Oh,
Absolutely.
nice.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, she was happy about it.
Yeah, and always, was there to answer any questions that we had, and never, it wasn't. Those questions for me came up later. I didn't really concern myself with it as I was younger, but recently, as this has kind of come up, certainly, giving fair to both sides, and she's been, answering all my questions, certainly. So yeah, she was very supportive.
How very exciting. It's nice that your parents actually did get along and actually liked one another and still do. I think that's a very helpful thing and something that I'm very happy about.
It'll be interesting to see the wedding.
Yes, indeed.
At the wedding.
You'll be married in, what, 4 months?
Yes.
4 months, and then we'll all get together, and then we'll find out whether we really do like one another.
It'll be a fun wedding.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be
There'll be
wedding.
enough people that
Well, we
we
probably
can
won't
blend.
Yeah, we'll probably blend in, and they'll notice it. We haven't talked for so long. Now, when you came to Thailand just 4 days ago, the first time you saw me was in the hotel in my monk outfit. What did I look like at the very first time you were walking across the...
Like a little Irish monk.
A little Irish monk. Oh, that is
An Irish
nice.
fire plug.
An Irish, that is...
That's what one of
something.
the blogs mentioned, said you were an Irish fire plug.
Oh,
Oh,
did it
yeah.
Oh,
really?
it certainly did, yeah.
Somebody that built a stupa with you in Hawaii.
Oh, I thought
Really?
Yeah.
That was
I
on
think so.
Yeah, called you an Irish fire plug. Was they were describing you an Irish fire plug.
Oh, is that right? I actually would like to find out and who that is.
And then
It was there and then it disappeared. I'm not sure.
another surprise. It's gone now? Because there was another one that said Yasha, I don't know if it was your blog or that blog, the Russian dancing crew named you Yasha, is that true?
The early dance company that I was in
Which
named me
means
Yasha.
yak meat.
Yak meat in
Did you-
Russian,
isn't that interesting?
in Tibetan.
Oh,
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh yes, and the llamas had just a great time with that. It's like being named hamburger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yak meat was just the funniest thing. That was the happiest name they ever came across, and
Yeah.
that was a funny moment.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, there is interesting things. I mean, I do mention, of course, we all have human problems and human things happen in our lifetime. But all of that aside, we don't have we. It's nice to have something colorful to talk about when it comes to you. I mean, we could have some the aforementioned washed out dad that's living under, completely beaten up by his cards dealt
Right.
and an alcoholic, but instead we have something far more colorful and
Interesting
to
that
talk about.
we spoke earlier on that when I left the family, I was told that my life was, if you didn't work and if you didn't have a family, your life was over. And just recalling that as a challenge. And even when I came back and spoke to some of the people that knew me when I was married, their ideas that I abandoned the family and who knows what I did, ran off with someone. Anyway, the information was pretty grim.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to say that that really wasn't what happened, but that's what people thought happened.
Mhm.
And to deal with that, mostly I didn't deal with it. I mean, there's how can you change someone's minds? But the whole idea that if you didn't work and you didn't have a family, your life was over. It's pretty big, pretty big thing to look at.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to bring that up. So you're in Thailand. We went off to visit Wat Arun and down in the basement with Venerable Samphone. What was all that? How did that feel to you, getting involved in, let's say, more local transportation and local activities?
We're getting an authentic experience, and it's been more surprising.
Mm-hmm.
In what way?
An office in the basement of a temple, a wat, I never imagined I would be going
Yes. You have to,
and meeting another monk.
that is really different.
Mm-hmm.
And that truly is unexpected. What about the feeling of it was cold the first day,
Yes.
and that was a surprise to me. It was the first time I'd ever been shivering in Bangkok. And
I wasn't expecting that.
and I think you were along with 5 million other Bangkokese, weren't expecting that either. I was on the.
We
on the
felt
beach.
bamboozled by everybody who had been here before.
No, it's not cold. It's not hot in
Right.
Bangkok.
We
How
weren't
about-
sure we landed in Bangkok. We thought we were somewhere else.
That was very different.
Right.
You have seen some of the local food. How is that? You actually like the spicy food.
Some of it, yes. And I wanted to mention, also what was interesting is like seeing this one of the first times I saw you
yes.
on YouTube, and then magically I'm here on this
A few
very
months-
set.
a few months later.
Yeah, never thought that
That
was
is
going to
amazing.
happen.
Well-
But the food's interesting. You know, the people are wonderful, very sweet, nice dispositioned people. Love the Thai people, loving the experience here. It's so far been everything and more that I had expected, and surprisingly in different ways. Like, you know, I'm having an unexpected. Kind of a rekindling relationship with my sister, and being
Wow.
able to be spending some more time with her and getting to know her on a different level has been really nice and really special for me too. So
Yes, I see you talking about
Yeah.
one another, and you're just rattling right along about just this and that.
yeah, and we'll take our walks, and it's not. That was something I hadn't. I mean, it seems so clear now, but I hadn't kind of expected, and it's been kind of a nice treat.
We're still getting along after a week.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
still getting along after a
Very
week.
well.
And
Very well.
you don't want to
And-
leave early. Yeah.
No, we're doing fine.
And I'm finding we're flexible with, embracing the authentic experience. Our authentic
All right,
experience.
and how is we've been talking for 4 days, and how is that experience? You know, spending time with a monk or a spiritual person. I would say I'm more of a mystic and a spiritual person than a traditional monk, which I think you understand. How is that both maybe like you imagined, and how might it be different than you might have imagined?
I find it interesting. The interesting part for me is that I'm becoming. This is odd to say here. I'm becoming more comfortable with my Western ways in some sense, because I kind of had questions, but I'm not super metaphysical. I'm not, those questions I find interesting, but I don't take too much to heart. I kind of have a traditional Western sense of things, but I'm one of those people that thinks that that's okay. You know, I'm comfortable with that, and I like it, and I find it interesting to see the culture, and the Buddhist culture for sure, and love the fact that we have that much variety in the world, and I'm enjoying learning about it, but still okay with myself in my own beliefs.
Well, sometimes you need the contrast
Sure.
to understand how good you have it. And
Yeah,
to appreciate
possibly.
Mexican food in the local Mexican food restaurant, which is something I think about 3 years after I got
If you
here.
haven't had Mexican food, you got to try Mexican food.
Then they just don't have Mexican food here, and it's really is a surprise what lingers when you come to Asia. It's going back to the United States and getting nachos
You've never seen a Mexican food restaurant anywhere, even Spanish food or Spain?
Not anything.
Nothing.
Interesting.
Nothing. It's not here.
Interesting.
Okay.
And for me, coming to visit a monk in Thailand, you're my father. So that idea of visiting a monk, it's different from me. I didn't come to have you teach me your ways. I've come to listen to what you've been doing, which is different, I think. We're not here as students, we're here as children. And so it has been interesting to, listen to what you've been up to. Very interesting to hear about your journeys. But again, you're my dad.
That's true.
Yeah,
And,
which makes
yeah.
it different than coming to Thailand and spending time with a monk.
Sure.
And it would also, that would have changed your perspective and your conditions in getting here in the first place. It would have changed completely everything. But that I am your dad and we are related in this way, and I've chosen this lifestyle choice, does make a difference.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, but the idea is, what is that difference? And I certainly haven't talked to you much about Buddhism. What about the temples that you saw here? What? How is that? How was your first experience? Although you went off in the first morning and visited Wat Po and the Emerald Buddha, and how did that differ from what you might have been expecting?
I don't think it was different. I think there are more than I expected. More temples than I expected. I appreciate the artistry and the definitely the art that's gone into the structures and the history that it represents.
And the Nagas and the Garudas that are on the side, and the history behind that. I mean, I find that interesting in a Catholic church. There's meaning in all that stuff. I find that all of the culture and history interesting. It's very interesting. Certainly the caves that we saw, and Praputapat.
Yes, at Wat Sap Cha Om.
Wap Sap Cha Om.
You got it. Pretty close.
Yes?
Doing
Okay.
good.
One of those things where I was like, wow, I'm really glad I'm getting this experience. Serving rice to the monks was something.
You did that yesterday.
Was something that I was coming here to experience just that, and not just the regular touristy thing. So that's been pleasant and nice, and the temples have been great. The temples are great.
You have an opportunity to meet a number of monks, Venerable Symphone and Venerable Phaeng. What did you think of them?
Chatty. No, he was great. Like, he started talking and was talking.
Right.
He was a great, fun guy to talk to. Like him with all the Thai people, just very sweet disposition, very, very kind, and I'm just enjoying the people very, very much. And Venerable Symphone, great guy, nice guy. Again, saw him here and then turned the corner and went, I know that guy. And
I recognize that guy.
I recognize him, and got to sat down and we had a little lunch while he was getting prepared for us.
Actually, a class.
And it was very, very nice talking to him.
And how did you feel? How did you feel the monks treating you?
I am appreciative that they are treating me with respect and openness and the same generosity as they're offering Sean.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And that I wasn't sure what to expect, but that I'm happily surprised.
Yes, it's a nice feature here, dealing with the monks that will deal with foreign people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's very exciting. That's very interesting. Now that you have a monk father, how does that feel at this time?
it's I'm still figuring that out. You know, it feels good. You know, we're still. It's been just a few days here, and things have been great. And I didn't have a bunch of high expectations. You know, I wanted to make sure I didn't keep my expectations too high, so that I came in and was completely underwhelmed. You know, I'm just kind of taking the information, because I know, you know, in 40 years of being on this planet, you know, I've had a fair amount of experience with people and their emotional makeup and what makes them do things, and we're all very pretty simple people, and I just kind of wanted to get to know you, like Shannon said, as my biological father, and I see some similarities in us.
Yes. Do you see similarities in us?
Yes,
Okay.
I always had.
Okay. Looks like we have to wrap this
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Our 3 minutes is a few minutes ago.
Okay.
I want to thank everyone for allowing us in your room, and thank you very much.